Hello and welcome to News Round, a recap of stories in the week. I'm Teniola Shoboale, the headlines. Praises for the Nigerian military as the country remembers her fallen heroes with the laying of wreaths in the nation's capital and in the states of the Federation. NIMC workers returned to work after a two-day strike amid threat of another showdown. Court grants bail to convener of Revolution Now movement, Omoyele Sowore, and 4 others under conditions the defendants consider too stringent. And U.S. lawmakers in the House of Representatives impeached President Donald Trump for a second time. Those are your headlines.
First and Second World Wars, the continental campaigns, sub-regional campaigns, peacekeeping missions, the 30-month civil strife that engulfed our great nation Nigeria between 1967 and 1970, and at
News Round begins with the remembrance of our fallen heroes, and as customary, the week-long activity climaxed with memorial celebrations in the nation's capital, Abuja, and across the country. President Muhammadu Buhari and other top government officials joined the military chiefs to celebrate the Armed Forces Remembrance Day at the National Arcade in Abuja.
Insurgency and kidnappers. We are honoring them today. We have some of them. That's number 5 guard on this parade. So there are 5 guards on parade. 1 and 2 provided by the Nigerian Army. 3 and 4 by the Nigerian Navy and the Nigerian Air Force. And number 5 are some of the providentially fortunate ones who saw action at various times, but they are here.
It's a solemn parade signifying the presence of the Nigerian Army, Nigerian Air Force, Nigerian Navy, and the Nigerian Legion to commemorate the 2021 Armed Forces Remembrance Day in honor of the nation's fallen heroes. In Lagos State, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu makes his way to the Tafawa Balewa Square, and in the usual tradition, he lays the wreath, releases the doves, and commends military officers for keeping to the tradition of the annual celebration in spite of the COVID-19 pandemic.
We're thankful to God that we can still keep this year's activity as important as it is.
Still in the southwest, in neighboring Oyo State, a call for more support for security agents is the message from the state governor, Seyi Makinde, who expresses his determination to achieve a safe and secure metropolis for residents.
We'll continue to do our best to ensure a safe, secure, and stable environment.
In the South-South, even as the River State Governor commemorates the Armed Forces Remembrance Day, Governor Nyesom Wike is calling for a change of the nation's current service chiefs, a move he believes will end the security challenges in the country.
We thank the service chiefs for their efforts so far in the battle against the insurgents, but we also align with the concern of citizens that having seemingly reached their wits' end, they should not give way for fresh hands.
It was a low-key affair in Delta State where Governor Ifeanyi Okowa leads top military and paramilitary officers to lay wreaths at the statue of the unknown soldier.
That is His Excellency, the Governor.
As he moves straight to the saluting dance.
In neighboring Cross River State, Governor Ben Ayade uses the opportunity to announce the approval of buses to ease the logistics problem of security officers.
I understand your challenges, I understand the situation, but on the immediacy, I'm hereby authorizing and approving the procurement and purchase of a brand new bus for all of you, the ex-servicemen.
And the Anambra State Governor, Willie Obiano, ensures the ceremony is in full compliance with the COVID-19 protocols.
we celebrate the bravery of our officers and men who gave lives and limbs for the good of Nigeria.
In Enugu State, it's slightly different as the governor chooses to spend the day with wives of the fallen heroes and support their welfare. It's another opportunity for northern states, which are exposed to a high level of insurgency, to clamour for better welfare for the military. And the Niger State governor, who spearheads the ceremony in his states, hopes for an improved welfare package for troops on the battlefront.
They work tirelessly day and night. They spend weeks, if not months, in the forest. And I think there should be some sort of incentive to support them.
Meanwhile, in Kogi State, Governor Yaya Bello calls on retired army officers to come on board and use their wealth of experience to help secure the nation, while appealing to the federal government to ensure the welfare of serving officers are catered to.
I will recommend that those that are still very vibrant and they have ideas and experiences to share in securing this country should be engaged so that we can have a viral and secured environment.
And in the spirit of honouring the armed forces, Zamfara State government has announced the donation of 1 hectare of land and an 18-seater bus to the Nigerian Legion in the state.
We expect further cooperation from you to combat the remnant security challenges confronting the state.
In Taraba State, the government says it's not relenting in supporting security agencies towards achieving permanent peace in troubled areas.
I therefore wish to appeal to our people to cooperate with the security agencies who are working across the state to maintain law and order.
The Armed Forces Remembrance Day honours fallen heroes, men who have paid the supreme price to safeguard the nation's peace, security and stability. It also honours retired and serving officers.
Now, after 2 days of inactivity, officers of the National Identity Management Commission have come alive again following the suspension of their industrial action. But the union says it will not hesitate to down tools again if the management fails to meet its demand within the fresh 21-day ultimatum given.
Enrollees at the headquarters of the National Identity Management Commission hoping to get access into the premises to register for their national identity number. The process resumed after the workers embarked on a 2-day industrial action to demand for improved welfare and working conditions last week. The strike was suspended on Monday following the intervention of the Minister of Communication and Digital Economy. Inside the premises is another hurdle as applicants try to gain access into the registration center.
Nigeria needs helping hands like contracting the work to private firms or public firms so that the work should be easy. Something like a division of labor, which is better off than this very way.
Well, I'm coming here about 2 weeks ago. I come like 3 times before they can arrange themselves and give me number and date that I will come. And I think that one work. Today is the day that they gave me. Then I'm here now. I think I get my form and the process is going on.
The registration and capturing process takes only about 5 minutes, but the lack of adequate computer system is affecting the pace of work.
We have enough manpower. We have more staff. If we have more computers here, I can tell you, if we have up to 60 computers here working at a time, this crowd in less than 2-3 hours will clear them. So if the federal government should help us, this one is not a welfare issue again now because we know why we are here. They should help us. Then this job will do it. And in less than a few months, everything will be done.
But the suspended industrial action may be short-lived as the workers appeal to the federal government to take advantage of the 20-day window to address their demands.
We are still on standby and we are hoping that he will call us to the table today or before the week runs out. But irrespective of all that, our ultimatum is counting down. We are hoping and waiting that those demands, our welfare, improved welfare, the immediate implementation of our new salary scale, the resolution of 2017 and 2020 promotion, and payment of a backlog of arrears owed to us. We are hoping those things will be resolved in due time. At the expiration of the 21 days ultimatum, we might have no other option than to shut down and down tools again.
Some of the demands include a review of the promotion done in 2017 and 2020, implementation of the approved salary structure and its appropriation in the 2021 annual budget, adequate provision of work tools for civic data enrollment, and provision of personal protective equipment for those enrolling the applicants. Telephone subscribers who are yet to link their SIM cards to their national identification number have up to February 9 to do so or get disconnected by their service providers.
The federal government has said that the January the 18th resumption date for schools stands and that the decision not to alter the date was taken after wide consultation. The Minister of Education, Adamu, had at the weekly briefing of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 said the date might be reviewed as a result of the spike in COVID-19 cases. But a statement from the Ministry of Education directed schools to reopen on Monday under strict compliance with COVID-19 protocols to avoid spread of the virus.
An almost 100% spike in the number of COVID-19 cases engenders the belief by the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 that Nigeria is headed for grave consequences in weeks to come.
Mr. Chairman,
against this backdrop, the safety protocols and curfews is currently being reviewed, including the official resumption of schools.
When we decided on that date, it was just a target towards which we were working. And of course, we were keeping it in view and looking at what is happening in the society. And then it is supposed to be subject to constant review. Even today at the PTF meeting, we looked at the rising figures, and probably we thought we should take another look at it.
We've had discussions with state governors, including a review of curfew hours, particularly with the aim of addressing and sniffing out the issue of nightlife and entertainment, which is also driving the current numbers. And once this review is completed, an announcement will follow with regards to the curfew.
So far, the PTF is grossly unsatisfied with the attitude of Nigerians towards adherence to the non-pharmaceutical interventions. Of particular note is the stretched capacity of hospital facilities.
100,000 cases are not just numbers. They are fathers, mothers, brothers, sisters, children, whose deaths we will all mourn. We're rolling out the use of RDTs in 5 tertiary hospitals in Abuja from Monday next week. This will increase access to testing. We then intend to roll out across the rest of the country from February. This will make testing a lot more available to hospitals, both for healthcare workers themselves and patients coming to these hospitals.
By the same token, the Minister of Health at this briefing debunks claims that he has hinted that the NIN registration be suspended on account of a COVID-19 spread.
It is only Mr. President who can issue any order aside what subsists right now.
The PTF assures that even though the production of COVID-19 vaccines within the country might be a difficult task at the moment, Nigeria could attain sufficient vaccination by 2022. Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.
When News Round returns in just a moment, court grants bail to convener of Revolution Now movement, Omoyele Sowore, and 4 others under conditions the defendants consider too stringent. That's a moment. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. Now to the judiciary. An Abuja Chief Magistrate Court has granted bail to the convener of Revolution Now Group, Mr. Omoyele Sowore, and 4 others stand in trial for alleged unlawful assembly, criminal conspiracy, and incitement. Ruling on the bail application filed on behalf of the defendants, the Chief Magistrate, Mabel Segun Bello, admitted Mr. Sowore to bail in the sum of 20 million naira and 2 sureties in like sum. The court also ordered Mr. Sowore to remain in Abuja and physically report to the court registrar every Monday and Friday, pending the hearing and determination of the case against him.
Supporters of the convener of Revolution Now, Omoyele Sowore, converged on the Chief Magistrate Court at Wuse Zone 2 in Abuja, singing and dancing.
Revolution now! Revolution now!
With the arrival of Sowore and the other 4 defendants, the Chief Magistrate proceeded to deliver her ruling on the bail application filed on behalf of the defendants. The court granted him bail in the sum of 20 million naira and 2 sureties in like sum. The court further ordered that one of the sureties must be a civil servant not below grade level 12. The court further ordered Mr. Sowore not to travel outside Abuja or the country, in addition to physically reporting to the court registrar every Monday and Friday. As for the 4 other defendants, the court granted them bail in the sum of 1 million naira each and 1 surety in like sum. Although the prosecutor was not available for an interview, the defense lawyer reacts to the conditions.
The first application, our first application was that they should be allowed to go on self-recognizance. That means they should be allowed to go without any bail conditions. They should just said, well, these guys are patriots. You can just go back to your house and then continue your agitations as patriotic individuals or citizens of this country. So if you ask me if I'm satisfied with the bail conditions, of course I will tell you I'm not entirely satisfied with it. On a personal note, I'm not entirely satisfied with it, but of course the conditions are still meetable and we are on the verge of meeting the bail conditions. And hopefully in the next 1 to 2 hours we'll be done meeting the bail conditions so they can go back to their home.
The first defendant, Omoyele Sowore, also reacted to the bail conditions.
I am their target, as you can see. For the second time, a judge is asking me to remain in Abuja and not travel abroad, even though I can't travel already. I've been restrained to Abuja and given a bail condition to produce a civil servant, which is unlikely to want to risk his job, and to produce somebody who has 20 million naira. If you're a civil servant and you have 20 million naira, you are likely engaging in corruption.
With bail granted to all the defendants, the court adjourned the case to the 5th of February for trial. The defendants, who were arrested in the early hours of January 1st, 2021, are standing trial for alleged unlawful assembly, criminal conspiracy, and inciting public disturbance.
Now, a trooper, Azuna Maduabuchi, has been sentenced to death by firing squad for killing the adjutant of his unit. The judgment was delivered by the Army Court-Martial in the case involving soldiers accused of committing serious crimes, including murder.
It's not the way it's meant to go for a soldier to be found committing acts unbecoming an officer. But that's exactly what happened at the 7th Division Court-Martial, where Trooper Azuna Maduabuchi is arraigned for opening fire on an adjutant of his unit, Abaka Khan Goji, killing him.
The sentence of this General Court-Martial on you, 16 NA/75/1343, Trooper Azuna Maduabuchi, for the offense of murder is to suffer death, as provided under Section 106 of the Armed Forces Act.
His reason? Anger at being denied travel leave. Now, he pays the ultimate price.
On 26 October 20, on a local...
6 other soldiers were convicted before the court-martial for manslaughter after torturing a civilian, Peter Akbogu, to death. Amongst those arraigned, a soldier given 3 years in prison for unprofessional conduct involving the use of his firearm at a wedding that led to the death of a 12-year-old boy. The boy's father thanks the military authorities.
To be honest, justice has been served because I never expected the army to pursue the rights of the poor. We thought there are no consequences for killing.
While counsel to the defendants thanks the courts for fair judgment.
Somebody stole a property that belongs to the Nigerian army, but they were not enlightened enough to know that they were supposed to hand over these suspects either to the military police in the army or to the civil police. But they went and took law into their hands and tortured the person. Unfortunately, the victim died.
Another dimension to life in the military. As the armed forces do their jobs, they also clean house in respect to discipline within the ranks.
Our news round ends in the United States, where history has been made, with Donald Trump becoming the first president of that country to be impeached twice. He was charged with incitement of insurrection following last week's deadly storming of the Capitol by his supporters. Mr. Trump now faces trial in the Senate, where the lawmakers can vote to bar him from ever holding public office again, but not before he leaves office next Wednesday.
The ayes are 232. The nays are 197. The resolution is adopted. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid upon the table.
And with that bang of the gavel, history was made on Wednesday as Donald Trump became the only United States president to be impeached twice.
In all of this, President Trump gravely endangered the security of the United States and its institutions of government.
After hours of debate, the U.S. House of Representatives impeached Trump for incitement of insurrection after a mob of his supporters stormed the Capitol on January 6th, as Congress met to certify President-elect Joe Biden's election victory.
Today, in a bipartisan way, the House demonstrated that no one is above the law, not even the President of the United States.
Mr. Trump was impeached by 232 to 197, with 10 Republicans siding with Democrats. The article now will go to the Senate for an impeachment trial. The Republican president has rejected responsibility for the violence. In a video released by the White House after the vote, he called on his supporters to remain peaceful without mentioning his impeachment.
Mob violence goes against everything I believe in and everything our movement stands for. No true supporter of mine could ever endorse political violence. No true supporter of mine could ever disrespect law enforcement or our great American flag.
The riots at the Capitol on January 6 left 5 people dead and sent shockwaves across the U.S. and the world, spurring Democratic Party legislators to launch an impeachment push against Trump in his final days in the White House.
And that's News Round this week. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Tenyola Shobowale. Have a lovely weekend.